Hi, my name is Austin, and today I just randomly thought of this video to rank the Solo Beatles 70 albums. Only the 70's. I'll probably do an 80's episode and then a 90's to current because right in the 70's you have everyone going at once, so you have the most albums to look at. And then once you hit 80 and December of 80, John gets killed, and then George is alive until 2001, and then after that, he passes away. So we sort of lose their album output so that it's just Paul and Ringo. So, but once I hit like 90 to current, I'll probably do that because it's a lot simpler. So I found this tier list on tiermaker.com where it's all of the albums, but I think I'm just going to go only do the 70s state and then build on top of that with the same one per episode. I have listened to probably, I would say, 5/6 of all these albums. I'm a big Beatles fan, and I really enjoy this sort of music. I have not looked at all of these, but I feel like I don't know if okay, so that's a bit weird. I'll have to talk about that later once I get to 80's or later because that's 20s. They have the stripped down version of Double Fantasy. That's kind of interesting. Any other weird ones? Complete Kisses. I don't know if that will factor into it. Baby's Request is on that. Let's see. It looks like nothing else. It's pretty current, though, because it has changed the world, Ringo's latest EP. And McCartney 3. But no 3 Imagined, which I guess makes sense, because Paul didn't have any brand new input on that, except for the last song on the physical version. Other than that, seems as Traveling Wilburys. That's a bit weird, but whatever. So yeah, I really enjoy the Solo Beatles. The reason why I got into Solo Beatles was because in like 9th or 10th grade, I binged the Beatles, as I'm pretty sure everyone around that age does. And I listened to all their albums, and I've always listened to like Breakfast with the Beatles and stuff like that. So I was always hearing this other solo stuff that I always thought was just as good, maybe even better. So I slowly would dip my toes in, listen to McCartney 1, listen to Band on the Run, maybe listen to All Things Must Pass, the Ringo album, and just sort of dip my way in there. And now I've listened to everything, pretty much everything, I should say. The only things I haven't listened to are the Ringo albums from Vertical Man to about Postcards from Paradise. I have Why Not in 2012 on vinyl, but truthfully I listened to Why Not once. I don't remember much of it other than like the collaborations on it, and I don't think I've ever played the 2012 one. All I know that has the remake of Wings on it, and I've heard that, which is okay, but I like the original better. So yeah, I've listened to about everything, and so I thought I would make a tier list and see how it goes, because a lot of people have many different opinions on the albums, and I always like to see others, and I always like others to see my opinions and see what they say to it and how they feel about where I place these albums. So I think we'll have to do it starting from, I guess this list is going to actually be like 68 because it has like Two Virgins on here somewhere, I'm pretty sure. And because it has electronic sound. Where is it? Oh, there's Wonderwall music. So I imagine Two Virgins and Life with Lions is on here. I think it is somewhere. We'll get to it. So I'm going to start off with the earliest album on here, which is Wonderwall Music. Now, Wonderwall Music is a soundtrack to a movie. It's like an arty movie. And it's now these albums, these experimental albums, you kind of have to put in their own category. Because in my head, you can't rank them as albums because they're a piece to something else, and they're the creator trying to be experimental. Like, I don't know if Paul's experimental is on here. They had The Fireman, but if there's stuff like the Liverpool Sound Collage, you can't really rank that as a normal album because that just doesn't work. So the same thing sort of applies to the experimentals. So I've never really used these before, but I'm gonna add a row above haven't listened to yet and title it let's see how to title it. Let's title it experimental Sorry about my typing. So I'm going to put, so with the experimental albums, I'm going to just put them all here, but I'm going to line them in what I would listen to most likely. Now, Wonderwall music, there's some cool stuff on it. George really went into the Indian aspect for some of this album. Right when he was doing like the Inner Light and stuff, just like around the time of the White Album when he was still really into it. And there's some cool sounding stuff on it. Like Skiing has Eric Clapton on it, I'm pretty sure, and that has a cool riff. So if I was to listen to an experimental album of George's, I would listen to this. Now, let's see if I could find Two Virgins. I would imagine they have it. It's one of those things where like your eyes just kind of blur it out. I don't know if I see it. I think once the list gets shorter, it'll appear. So I would imagine Life with Lions and Two Virgins are on here. I don't get why they wouldn't be on here if they have electronic sound and Wonderwall music. This is why you kind of have to put your photos in order. I get that like it makes your brain think more, but I'm not seeing it. Just even though it's not here, I'm just gonna say, I don't really like either of the albums of Two Virgins or Life with Lions. They're the experimental part of John that I was never really into. Especially, I'm not a Yoko hater. Some of the stuff she has on Double Fantasy and Somewhere in New York City, I kind of like, but I don't know. It never clicked with me. Like, I'm pretty sure Two Virgins has that one, it's not really a song. It's just John and Yoko yelling each other's names, and it gets louder, and they go into like whispering and stuff like that. That's not really for me. So I do see electronic sound. Now, electronic sound is 2 songs, and each one is a half an album. No. Okay. All that album is George learning the Moog. And if I heard somewhere that's not even him, it's like someone he commissioned to just work with the Moog and try to learn some sounds. So you just get 2 sides of different sort of messing around. It's a very weird album. It's on the Zapple label, which was a very small label on Apple that only had 2 releases, which I think was Electronic Sound and Life with Lions, I think. But I've listened to it once. I have the vinyl. I have the reissue. I've seen the original, but I'm not going to buy it. Same with Wonderwall, because I don't listen to them much. And completest me, I'll probably buy them eventually, but right now I don't need them. Now we get to 1970. And the first album, let's start with Ringo. Now, Ringo's first album was not a normal album. It was a standards album. It was Sentimental Journey. Now, Sentimental Journey is a very interesting album. Ringo made an album for his parents, pretty much. What his parents always played when he was at home. Now, it's very old-fashioned. It's standard, so you get like Bye Bye Blackbird and Sentimental Journey and stuff like that. But I don't think it's bad, per se. I'm not really into that sort of music. And there's some cool stuff, because I'm pretty sure each song or each couple songs has a different arranger on it. Like I know Paul does one. Quincy Jones does one. It's very interesting, but I don't think it's F. To rank any album, any Beatles album, solo or Beatles, an F is very harsh. I don't think any of them can stoop that low. So I'm going to put it at a D, because it's listenable. If you take the time and you get in the mood and you sit down and hear Ringo just having a good time, he's singing the songs that he loves. And then to pair with that, you get Bukus of Blues. Now, this album was recorded in 3 days, to my memory, where one of the guys in the sessions for All Things Must Pass said to Ringo, I know you like country. How about we do an actual country album in Nashville? And that's what they did. Now, there's some cool stuff on this album, like Number 9 Draw. Or wait, not number. I'm thinking Number 9 Dream. I think it's $5 Draw. That's a good song on it. And the title track, which was Ringo's first single, isn't half bad itself. So I kind of like that album. I would rank it. Not that I'll listen to it all the time, but I think it's a higher D, because it's better than Sentimental Journey for my taste. But I'm not the biggest country guy. But you can if you listen to it, everyone's giving in their heart. Everyone's having a blast. Now next, if we go to, we'll do All Things Must Pass. Now, everyone always says All Things Must Pass is one of the greatest albums ever, and It's the best solo album. Now, I've burnt myself out on the album. Before the box set came out, I listened to All Things Must Pass probably in like 11th grade, a lot. And when I mean a lot, a lot. And I just haven't been able to listen to it. And then before that, when I heard they're doing the new box set, I was like, cool, yeah. Because whenever I listened to it again, all I heard was Phil. And I know some people like Phil Spector, like production wise, but for some reason, All Things Must Pass, I just sort of wore me out. I'm gonna rate it an S because it is an amazing album. George had those songs for years, and he was just putting them on the back burner, and then he was able to just dump them all at once. So that it's a good album, but I'm just burnt out on it. So we'll see what happens with that. Let's see, what else do we get? 1970. We get what do we get? McCartney 1 or McCartney. You can't. It's McCartney 1 now, but it's really just called McCartney. So where would I put McCartney? Now I think it's an amazing album. It's not ass, but it's a solid album. I have nothing wrong with the album. Like here, let me look up the track listing. McCartney track listing. I'll just go to the Wikipedia page. If I look at the track listing, all of these songs I like, and I like a lot. Like this album, it's such a home album, which is the whole point because he recorded it at home, just on his own time, and it sounds amazing. I'm gonna put it at an A because you can't argue the album. It's amazing. Songs like Criacore, like that, you listen to it, and you could just hear him having fun, just having fun at home with Linda and his child. A minus, B plus, maybe just straight up A. I can't rank it any lower than that though. Now let's see what else we get from 1970. Plastic Ono Band. Now, I know it's an amazing album, but I've never totally sunk my teeth into it. I've heard the whole album through and through a couple, like 10 times, let's say. Okay? So, but I don't like it. The problem is, I'm not the biggest John fan. Like, some of his songs are like, ooh. But if we look up the Plastic Ono Band track list, okay? The John Lennon album, because Yoko and them released the same title album on the same day. Now, this album is rocking, okay? Like, it's just John, Ringo, Klaus, and Yoko. And they're all having fun, okay? They're rocking out. Their Mother, what an opening. With the gong, like that's an amazing album opener. But some of these songs I've either heard too much, like Isolation. When the coronavirus started coming, everyone started playing Isolation, and it got overplayed. I think it's an amazing song, but I'm tired of it. Same with was those songs that like I've heard too much, or it's like that they've worn out. Love has that nice intro, but in my head, when I think of that song, I just think of the same note. Oh, like, I know it's not like this, but this is how my brain interprets it. It's just the weird, muffled John singing that ditty. That's a horrible description. But then some other songs, like God is a concept for which we hide our pain. That's an amazing line. I know it wasn't his. It was his Primal's therapy teacher. But yeah. But some, like, Working Class Hero, I've never gotten. Like, I've never, connected, let's say, maybe with it. But I don't know. It's an A album. Would I listen to it more than McCartney? I'm a Paul guy, but maybe not. But it's an amazing album. I know someday I'll probably put it up an S, but right now I just can't. And then let's see. I guess there isn't. Yeah, I don't see the experimental album. So 1971. Let's see what we get first. 1971. Imagine. That came out in 71. I always get it mixed up in my head because, right? Yeah, because Imagine came out. See, you get to see me type this first. Yeah, 71. In my head, oh, there's also the Wedding album. I don't like that at all. It's kind of corny. Imagine. Now, Imagine, it's already gonna have to go up here because it's a good album. I kind of almost like it more than Plastic Ono Band, but at the same time, same as Plastic Ono Band, I've heard it too much. I can't listen to Imagine. Like this, the title track, I've heard it too much. And once in a while, if I sit down, I'm like, I'm gonna listen to, or it comes on, I'll be like, yeah. But I'm almost never gonna go, I'm gonna listen to Imagine, or I'm gonna listen to Jealous Guy. Like I've heard it too many times. That's the problem with most of the stuff. Is when you've heard something too much because you've gone through everything. Yeah. So if we look at this, let's see. Imagine, a wonder, amazing song. I've heard it too much. Crippled Inside, awesome song. I love Crippled Inside. One thing you can't hide is when you're crippled inside. It's so truthful. It's so hard. I don't want to be a soldier. Again, just like Working Class Hero. I don't want to be a soldier, Mama. It just goes on too long. So I can't put it at S. But if I look at this, right now, I would probably listen to Plastic Ono Band more than Imagine. But I can't put it higher. McCartney, I have to think about this now. McCartney's also sort of worn out. Probably like that right now. Okay, let's see what else we get from 71. Ram. There it is. I skipped Ram. Ram. Okay, Ram. That is an album that I will love forever. Okay, it's one of those albums that even my mom, if I'm ever in my room, and she's gonna put on a record, it's always the first side of Ram. I always hear Piece of Cake. That's what I always hear. All of these songs are awesome. Smile Away, bum 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 bum. Like songs like, oh man, maybe Uncle Admiral I've heard a bit too much. And also, again, my mom listens to the side one a lot when it's late at night, so I've heard these songs a quadruple, many poo-poo ton. But Monkberry Mundo Light will never get old. That song, he's just yelling his heart out. And then the backseat of my car. And then If a Woman Was Why was on the album. Oh, that song is amazing. So Ram, I have to put in S. Now, let's imagine this is right now, okay? This isn't of all time what I think the albums are. They can move around all the time. But let's go right now. I would probably listen to Ram more than All Things Must Pass. That's where I'm at. That's just where I'm at right now. And then the companion to Ram, not really at all, is Wildlife. Now, Wildlife gets a bad rap, okay? People are like, there's nothing much to it. They recorded it pretty quick. It's just them doing simple songs, okay? And before the box set, everyone just threw away Wildlife. And I never understood it. There's some... if we go to Wildlife, look at the track list. Okay, I can get why someone doesn't like this album. It starts off with Mumbo, which if you're in the mood, rocks. If you're not in the mood, it's pretty pointless. And then you get Bip Bop, which I love. But I could see why someone hates it because it's just singing. It's him singing baby music because that's what he's saying to his children. They would go Bip Bop. And it's like that's a cool noise. And then Love Is Strange, one of the best songs Paul's ever done. Okay, the groove they get on there, and then that middle part, is like when what's the lyric? Love is like having money in your hand, and the how deep his voice goes on that line. Oh, and then you get Some People Never Know, I Am Your Singer Tomorrow, and Yes, Dear Friend goes on a bit too long. So I would put Wildlife at C plus or B minus, either or. Okay, maybe a B minus. That's just where I'm at. I'm a Paul guy, but yeah, that's just from it. Now 71. George had... Wait, no, that was 73. I'm having a mind blank. Living in the Material World is 73. Yeah, because he did Bangladesh in 71 and it was doing Badfinger. So that is it for 71. Ringo had it Don't Come Easy. Smash song. I've heard it a bit too much. Smash song. Broke the charts. 72. We open that up with, let's see what we get. 72. Sometime in New York City. Now again, people dog on this album because it's the follow-up to Imagine, and it's not a good follow-up to Imagine. John gets very political in it, which some people don't like. I can stand it, even though I'm not the biggest John fan. I can stand it, but there's some songs that I just do not care for. Now, of course, I accidentally closed Wikipedia, so let's open that back up. We're doing this live. Sometime. Now, this box set's coming out later this year, so if you got the money, go buy it. So sometime in New York City. Now, Woman is the End of the World. It's a very controversial song. It's an interesting topic that he's bringing up. I kind of agree with him to a point. But it's kind of like, I don't want to be a soldier, mama, but I kind of like it more. And then, okay, this album is a John Lennon and Yoko Ono album. It's not one or the other. It's both. It's kind of like Double Fantasy. So you do get a bit of everything. Now, this album I haven't listened to in a while. So I'm just going to look at the songs I remember. I remember like Attica State. It's okay. It's very political. That's about the the prison riot in Attica State Prison. I haven't listened to Born in Prison in a long time. Okay, so this album, do not take my rating for it as truthful as like 100% because I haven't listened to it in a little bit. Let's see. New York City, a wonderful song. It's just him talking about how him and Yoko are feeling in New York City because they just moved there from England. Sunday Bloody Sunday, I really like. Look at the Irish. It's okay. It's kind of corny, but it's okay. John Sinclair, I kind of like, even though it's very simple. Angela, I kind of like. I actually kind of like it a lot ever since it came out on the Give Me Some Truth box set a couple years ago. And We're All Water is not a bad Yoko song. It's kind of the truth. Everyone's the same. We're all water. Now, the live disc is very controversial. Okay? I kind of don't include it because the side 3 is 2 songs. You get Cold Turkey and Don't Worry Kyoko with George in the background, which is kind of cool. But the Cold Turkey is kind of cool to listen to, but I don't really care for the Don't Worry Kyoko. Then side 4 is John and Yoko with Frank Zappa. And there's some kind of cool jams they do, but it's a bit too long, like always, for me. So, yeah. So if we look at where I'm going to put the album, I'm going to go C-. I would not listen to it very often at all. I would listen to it more than these. So maybe D+, but not D+, C-. Okay, let's see what else we got. 1972. We already did Ram, Wildlife. Paul puts nothing out because he goes on tour, and Red Rose takes a long while because they recorded so much stuff. John puts out that. George puts out nothing. Ringo puts out nothing. Okay, 1973. Let's see what we hit first. Living in the Material World. Now, some people love Living in the Material World. It's an amazing album, I'll give it that. But to me, I don't click with it that much. It's very spiritual. It's a very spiritual album, I will say. But if I look at the track listing right now, what do I click with? Give Me Love, Give Me Peace on Earth. Wonderful single. I've heard it a bit too much, but wonderful single, wonderful song. Sue Me, Sue You Blues. Wonderful song. The Light That Has Lighted the World. The problem with that I have with this album is that it's kind of slow at parts. It's like a meditation, and you're supposed to be relaxing. But there's some parts in this album where I just tune out a bit. The Light That Has Lighted the World is fine song. Sometimes I tune out, sometimes I don't. Don't Let Me Wait Too Long. A wonderful song. Should have been the next single. Who Can See It? I haven't listened to that song in a while. I think it's slow. Uh, I can't think of how it goes. So it's kind of like the Yoko song is on Somewhere in New York City. The Material World, wonderful song. I've heard it a bit too much because it's one of those songs that if you're gonna hear a Beatles song, you might hear that one if it's gonna be Solo George. Side two, the Lord loves the one that loves the Lord. I kind of remember that song. Again, I haven't listened to this album in a while because in my head it's always like it's the slow one, even though there's a slower one coming up, but we weren't talking about that. So yeah, Be Here Now. That's sort of his trance song. Try Some Buy Some, pretty good song, even though that song was meant for Ronnie Spector. The Day of the World Gets Round is okay, and That Is All. It's a pretty good song. So if we go, I'm gonna put it. Now some people might not like this, but this is what if I wanted to listen to an album right now, I would say B minus. I know people love that album and maybe even put it above All Things in the Past, I've heard, but not for me. 73. Let's see what else we hit. Mind Games. Okay. Now, if you thought I hadn't listened to Sometime in New York City, Mind Games is even worse for me because I know barely any songs from that album. It's kind of the black sheep of Sometime in New York City is, I guess, the black sheep. How did I get to... Oh, I got, like, the definition of Mind Games. How did I get Head Games? Mind Games, music, albums, John Lennon. Okay. Mind Games, the title track. It's a fun song, but I can't listen to it that much. Because it's the same thing over and over. Kind of like I Don't Want to Be a Soldier, Mama. Kind of like Woman is the End of the World. John likes these songs where it's just the same thing sort of over and over. I know Mind Games has that like cool slide in the background. It's sort of like a big build, sort of, but it's not really building to much. Just like Love Is the Answer, and you know that for sure. Tight As, I think is a very fun song. It's a very fun rocker from John. You don't get much rockers from John after the beginning. It's a very fun song. Asua Mesen, I can't think of how the song goes because I haven't listened to Mind Games in a long time. I don't even know One Day at a Time, so that's so you know where I'm at. Bring On Lucy, don't even know. Utopian International Anthem, I'm pretty sure that's the Inner Groove, and it's just nothing because they were kind of having their fun. Intuition, again, don't know it. Out of the Blue is a wonderful song. Only people haven't heard it. I know, I kind of remember, but I don't know it. You Are Here, don't know it. And Meat City, I kind of like, but it's kind of a bad New York City / beef jerky. So I'm going to put, haven't listened to enough of it. To it enough. I don't feel like I can rank Mind Games. I haven't listened to it enough. I know like 3 songs well, so I can't put it there. Let's see, 1973. Red Rose Speedway. Okay, remember I'm a Paul guy, so Red Rose Speedway is a very hidden gem, kind of like Wildlife. Now, the song people should know from Red Rose Speedway is My Love, which was a number 1, if I remember right. Let's see. Topped the Billboard, yeah. It was a number 1. Now, I love this album to begin with. Big Barn Bed. Stellar. My Love. Stellar. Get on the Right Thing. Amazing. One More Kiss. A wonderful kind of country-esque ditty, which he likes doing a lot. Little M Dragonfly. Wonderful. That was a Leftover Ram song. Single Pigeon. Wonderful. When the Night. Wonderful. Loop. Okay. Now, a lot of people don't like Loop. And I get it. It's a groove. But if you get in that groove, and when it kind of stops, and then it comes back, and that bass, do, holy cannolis, Batman. That's an amazing song. And the medley, Hold Me Tight, I love. Lazy Dynamite goes on too long. Hands of Love is a kind of little ditty. Power Cut, amazing. So if I was to listen to Red Rose right now, I would put it, oh my god, Now I'm just in the mood to listen to Redwood Speedway. Uh, Damn, right there. An A minus. I love Red Rose. Okay, let's see what else we get. Ringo. Okay, I'm just gonna automatically put that there because it's the Ringo album. You can't hate the Ringo album. It's his best album, other than some people will say, what's it called? Time Takes Time from 92 or 3 or 5? 5? My brain's mixed. I think it's 3. 93. 94. 94. This album, you can't hate this album because it's so good. You get I'm the Greatest, you get Photograph, you get You're 16, you get Oh My, you get 6 O'Clock, you get Devil Woman, you get You and Me, Babe, which is a wonderful closer. That you get to hear the heart and soul Ringo where he says like, "Thank you everyone who made this album with me. I hope you listen to this record while it's spinning around and around." Oh, the Ringo album A plus, almost S, but A plus. Okay. Let's see what else we get. 73. Is that everything? I think. Oh, wait a minute. It's not everything. There's Band on the Run. Macaroni and cheese ads, by the way. I don't really like macaroni and cheese, but whatever. Band on the Run. Okay, can't argue about that. I've heard it a bit too much, but I will any day listen to it over all these albums because it's Band on the Run. Is it his best album? Ram's pretty good, but it's pretty good also. Can't say much more. Okay, 74. Now we're getting to like, Paul didn't put an album this year. Oh my, he only put out a single and he was in Nashville for a while. Ooh, okay, let's see. Dark Horse. Now people like to drag on Dark Horse. It's Dark Horse because they go, oh, his voice is out. Oh, he was in a bad point of his life. He was in a divorce-esque situation with his wife. He was sleeping with Ringo's wife, which is a whole nother can of worms. He was kind of angry, and yeah. But I love Dark Horse. There was like 10th, 11th grade. I was digging this album every day. I would put on Harry's on Tour when I was going to school. Oh, maybe sometimes. Okay, track list. It's not much of a song. Harry's on Tour. If you haven't heard it in a while, it's pretty fun. If you heard it too much, it makes sense why you would skip over it. Simply Shady, pretty good song. So Sad, pretty good song. Bye Bye Love, a wonderful color. Maya Love, a bit. See, the problem is these songs, they all sort of sound the same in my head, but they're all good in my head. Ding dong, ding dong. I don't know if it's the best second single, but it's decent, we'll say. It's not that good a Christmas song, though. Dark Horse, wonderful song. Far East Med, wonderful. Is He J. Krishna? Meh. Take that off, but I don't care anymore on that. Finish at the album a little earlier. Solid. So I'd put Dark Horse. Where did I put it? Dark Horse. C+. Okay, that's where I'm at. Let's see what else. Walls and Bridges. Okay, Walls and Bridges. I've been getting into a lot, and I'm really digging it. Probably put it there. I love it. If we go to Walls and... I don't love it. Okay, let's tone it back a bit. I don't love every song on the album, but the songs I love. Walls and Bridges. Okay, look at the track list. Going Down in Love, solid. Whatever Gets You Through the Night, solid. Old Dirt Road, I like Harry's version better when it's stripped down, but pretty good. What You Got, pretty good. Bless You, too slow. Scared, good once in a while. Number 9 Dream, I've heard it too much, but it's still pretty good. Surprise, Surprise, best song on the album. Steel and Glass, pretty goddamn good. Beef Jerky, kind of cool, but it steals from Man on the Run. Nobody Loves When You're Down Out. Once in a while, I like it a lot. Sometimes I usually skip it. Yeah, it's not really a track. I'm going to put it there. Sorry, I realize I've been talking a lot, and I don't know if anyone's going to want to sit for this video. Is that it? Good Night, Vienna. Where are you? There you are. Okay, follow up to Ringo's album, Good Night, Vienna. He's starting to lose a little speed. Vienna. Now, the title track, I've heard a bit too much, and I never really dug it that well. It's kind of just the same thing over. Oh, and then it ends it also. So that's kind of one song on both sides, which I don't really care for much. Acapella, pretty good song. It's a cover, but pretty good song. Ooey, pretty good song. Husband and Wives, don't care. Snookeroo, decent Elton John song. All by myself, yeah, okay. Call Me, yeah, okay. None song, solid. Only You, solid. Easy for Me. I think that's another slow song like Husband and Wives. Don't care much. Goodnight Being I don't care much. I'm thinking There. Yeah, There. I know some people might put it in B, but I don't really care much for Goodnight Vienna. I listen to the middle, and that's about it. Well, not even the middle, because Husband and Wives is in there. I don't listen to it much at all, except for the couple songs on there. That's about it. Okay, that should be everyone. Now we're on 75. 75. We get stuff like in 1975, we get wonderful albums like Rock and Roll. Ugh. Okay, Rock and Roll. There's an album I've had ups and downs with in my life. Rock and Roll. John Lennon. This album, I like songs and I don't like songs. Hallelujah, good once in a while. Stand By Me, I've heard it too much, but it's okay. Rip It Up, Ready Teddy is amazing. Can't Catch Me is good once in a while. Ain't That a Shame, I've heard it a bit too much. Just a song in general. Do You Wanna Dance? I don't really care much for his version. Sweet and Little 16, it's okay. Slipping and Sliding, never really cared for it that much. Peggy Sue, never really cared for it that much. See, the problem with this album is I don't like how it sounds. It sounds like a tin can, except for no, even the songs sound like a tin can. Stand By Me is the only one that doesn't sound like a tin can. I've heard it too much, so I'm putting it there because I just wouldn't. I would rather listen to Sometime in New York City because it's more interesting to me than rock and roll. I just don't really care much for it. Let's see what else we have here. Venus and Mars. Okay, Venus and Mars. Let me take a sip. The technical follow-up to Band on the Run. And I think he did a stellar job with Venus and Mars. If I go to the Wikipedia page for Venus and Mars, you can see the wonderful track listing. So now he's got Jimmy, and he's got Jeff Britton and Joe English. Technically, both of them appear on this album. Venus and Mars, wonderful intro. Rock Show, wonderful song. Lovin' Song, pretty solid song. We Gave Me the Answer, wonderful little ditty. Magneto and Today Man, awesome. Letting Go, wonderful single, amazing single. And when they do it live during the live album, ooh. Reprise Spirits of Ancient Egypt, Denny Lane. He's having fun. He's singing a vocal, which he hasn't done much of, like a lead other than on No Words, sort of, and Picasso's Last Words. I didn't talk much about Band on the Run. There's not much to say. It's just Band on the Run. Call Me Back Again. Oh, what a vocal on that. Medicine Jar with McCulloch singing. Pretty solid rocker. I also know what the man said. You can't argue with that. It's an amazing song. Treat Her Gently, A Lonely Old People, amazing, and Crossroad Theme. It's an A album. Almost there. Yeah, that's where I'm at with that. What? I would Venus and Mars. You can't argue with Venus and Mars. What am I missing? Nope. I'm missing the album I have a shirt for. Extra Texture, Read All About It. Now, people criticize the Dark Horse tour and the Dark Horse album a lot. And so George was kind of in a sad mood, and he recorded this album. Now, there's some fun songs on here. I can't argue with that. You, decent single. Doesn't really go anywhere. The Answer's at the end. Pretty solid song. This guitar, pretty solid song. Ooh, Baby. I don't remember much of that. World of Stone. Okay, it's kind of just The Answer's at the end again in my head. Bit more of You. Very pointless. Can't Stop Thinking About You. Meh. Tired of Midnight Blue. Kind of cool, but meh. Great Carry Lies. Kind of cool, but meh. His Name Is Legs. Vocals buried. That's where I'm at with that. I would listen to it. That's about where I put Extra Texture, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really care for it much. There's some cool stuff on there, but like, I'll still listen to Sometime in Nick Shorty or any of these albums above it right now, I should say. So do I have everything? Yeah. Wait. Rotogravure came out in... Well, we can start that off with that's 1976. Ringo's Rotogravure. Now, I'm gonna put this at the begin with. This is what I would listen if I had to choose the albums. What I'd listen to right now. This is where it's at. Rotogravure. I think it's a much better album than Goodnight Vienna. You've heard me say it right now. I think it's pretty fun. Dose of Rock and Roll, very fun. Hey Baby, very fun. Pure Gold, it's not as good as 6 o'clock, not at all bad. Crying, pretty fun. You Don't Know Me at All, it's better than the slow ones on Goodnight Vienna. Cooking in the Kitchen Love, not that good of a song that John gave him, but not that bad. I Still Love You, don't really care much. This could be called a song. Kind of fun rocker from Eric, doesn't really go anywhere. Las Brisas, pretty fun. Lady Gay, I know it's just, I forget the name of the original song, but it's just like a rework of it. Pretty fun. Actually, very fun. I like listening to Lady Gay once in a while. Birmingham, it's a city song. And Spooky Weirdness is not really a track at all. But right now, I'm putting it above Goodnight Vienna. I think it's pretty much the same album. I don't know why it did so bad. Dose of Rock and Roll was like top 50, I think. It did pretty good. But for some reason, his whole career just started going a nosedive, for the popular opinion. 1976, Speed of Sound. Okay, Speed of Sound. This album is getting some flack recently. Or it always has. It's Wings' most highest selling album. But is it the best quality album? I don't know if you could say that. Yeah, Ringo Starr song, Speed of Sound. At the speed. Whatever, I'll just put Wings. There we go. I won't do much editing for this video. Speed of Sound. Let Him In. Night You Never Wrote. All of these songs I can listen to anytime. Go to the House, I Gotta Be in the Mood, and Woman But Evil, I Gotta Be in the Mood. But I would put it there. Okay. Ooh. I'll feel like moving this around, but I'm not gonna, because these are just where I put it. Yeah, I think Speed of Sound's an excellent album. I don't see much wrong with it. Except for like Cooking in the Kitchen Love, and Warm and Beautiful's kind of just worse, in my opinion. Ebony and Ivory doesn't really go anywhere. But yeah, that's about where I'm at with that. 33 and a Third. That's a very fun album from George. And a third. I typed that wrong. George. Guess I just have to go George Harrison 33. Okay, this game Wikipedia's being kind of mean to me, but I'm gonna just try to find it. 33 and a Third looks like the track list. I'm gonna describe for me. Wonderful opening. You can't argue with that. Dear One, it's okay, kind of slow. It kind of ruins the album, in my opinion. Beautiful Girl, okay, decent, but This song, wonderful. See Yourself, decent. It's What You Value, very fun. True Love, Pure Smoky, awesome. Packer Box Palace, awesome. Learning How to Love You, pretty goddamn good. I'm gonna put it at about that. I think it's a B plus to me if I think about it right. What else came out in 1976? I did Speed of Sound. I did Rotor, and I did 33. That's it for that. Okay, 77. It's not. There's only one album from 77, and that is, where is he? Ringo the Fourth. Okay, now some people might hate this, but I'm in a Ringo the Fourth kick. And if I wanted to listen to Ringo Fourth right now, I would put it there. Because I love it a lot. Right now. It's very corny. And the very ending of it is not that good. So actually, I'm going to put it there. There. This is how I feel right now. But yeah. I like Ringo the Fourth a lot. Let me defend it real quick. Now, Ringo the Fourth. People hate because they call it the disco album. The only disco songs is Drowning the Sea in Love, sort of, and maybe like Can't You Do It Like She Dances or Seeking Sally Through the Alley. But from tracks 1 to 7, it's amazing. All of these songs are fun. Ringo's having fun. It's No Secret is still okay, but it's kind of you're kind of losing your steam. I would never rate this album a D like this person did, or 2 out of 5. No. But Gypsies in Flight and Simple Love Song, not that good. So right now, let's probably put it right here. 78. We get Bad Boy. Wait, is that 79? Nope, that's 78. Okay, Bad Boy. I'd probably put it right there. There's some fun songs on Bad Boy. I'll give it that. The title track is kind of fun to hear Ringo do a Louis Armstrong. Lipstick Traces on a Cigarette, not that bad. Heart on My Sleeve, pretty fun. Where Did Our Love Go is very funny to hear Ringo try it. It's not that good of a cover, but it's kind of funny. Hard Times, a stellar song. Tonight, stellar song. Monkey See, Monkey Do, meh. Old Time Reliving, meh. A Man Like Me was originally A Mouse Like Me, but that's a whole nother story. But right now, I listen to it more than Goodnight Vienna, but less than Rotogravure, and more than all these albums below it. 78. Ooh, that means Paul did London Town in 78. Now, London Town, once it gets that box set, everyone's going to hop on its butt and say it's one of the best albums Paul has done. I can't spell. Okay, London Town. This is one of my favorite Paul albums ever. All of these songs on side 1 are amazing. All these songs on side 2 are amazing, except for maybe More Smooth Than the Grey Goose and Name and Address. But Name and Address is probably the worst song on the album. But London Town, there. It's a sleeper. If you haven't heard London Town, buy the LP, listen to it online, listen to the songs, listen to what Denny's doing. Denny's writing, there's like 3 or 4 Denny songs on the album. They're having fun. They're on a boat in the Caribbean, off the Virgin Isles, and in London is where they also record some, and they're sounding fun. And then you have Mulligan Tire and Girls' School to go with it. It's all fun. They're all having fun. Let's see what else. George is not. Oh wait, when did George? Isn't George Harrison self-titled album? It's 1979. So we won't get to that yet. Ringo has Bad Boy, London Town, and that's it. Okay, back to the egg. This album is very good also. I would put it probably there, I would say. It's a very fun album. Very fun album. Very quirky album, I should say. Not Wings Greatest, Back to the Egg. There's some very fun songs on it, but we're open tonight. You have to be in a mood, do it. Spin it on, you gotta be in a mood. Rockestra theme, I always skip. The Broadcast, Skip. So glad to see you here, Skip. Babies. If you just took out these 3 songs and added maybe like Cage or like Robber's Ball or something else in the back, you'd have a wonderful album. So that's kind of where I put it. And then George Harrison. This is another sleeper people haven't listened to enough. If I was going to listen to it right now, I'd probably put it there. If you haven't listened to the album, listen to the album. If you think George did nothing good after Living the Material World and before Cloud9, you're wrong. It's just so much fun. George is just in such a happy place. He's just had his kid, and he's just chilling. He's just relaxing and having a blast. And then I think that's about it for the 70s, because the next album is McCartney 2 and Double Fantasy, which I don't think I'm going to get to yet. I'm going to save that for the 1980s video, because this video has already been long enough. So I think I'm just going to pause it here, and you guys can put any comments down below if you don't like my choices, if you like my choices, you have any new opinions. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content. Bye-bye.